Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During this, could I I request permission to use a visual aid during this testimony?
I'm sorry, you request the permission?
Use of a visual aid during this testimony.
A visual aid. I can only imagine. Thank you. Is there any objection to Representative Owens using a visual aid? Hearing none, so ordered. Please proceed, Representative.
Well, thank you, colleagues. This is all about preg checking, and we had a similar bill come through this floor last year, and it did get vetoed by the governor. But I'll just give a little history on how preg checking has evolved, and I think it has some context to this bill. Please don't panic. It'll be okay. So, back in the day, you used to go up to the right side of the cow, and when the calf was 3 to 4 months old, you could bump that cow, and that calf would bump against the side, and you could tell if it was bred or not. But that was, at a 4 to 5 month period of time. Since then, we've evolved. We've evolved now to where you can use a plastic glove, and you actually do a rectum palpation, and at very young, you could go in there with your hand, and you can bump, and that head will come up, and you can tell, even at 1 to 2 months age, if she's bred or not. And from the size of the head, you can tell the age of the calf. It's probably not the most pleasant experience, but that's the way it is currently done. And now they've come up with ultrasounds. Ultrasounds to where you can go and you can actually detect a very, very young calf. But the truth of the matter is, the reason this bill here is we have a shortage of large animal vets in our communities. So I could preg cows on my own ranch. I could go to Representative Harbuck's ranch and I could preg cows too. One of his employees can come over to my ranch and preg cows. But if there's any money compensated for that, it's not currently legal. We have men and women that do artificial insemination. We used to just call it AI, but now we just can't call it AI. We got to call it artificial insemination, that are very, very trained at this, but they're not a vet. They can't be compensated to come in and preg check a cow. And even now with ultrasound, if I become very competent on an ultrasound, I can't go to Representative Harbuck's herd and use an ultrasound. We want to be able to do that. In fact, it's already occurring. We're trying to make it legal. But we did change the bill a little bit from last year. Right now, the Veterinary Board will get to make the rules on how this is going to occur. And another important portion in this bill is if somebody's performing this service for compensation and they find a large amount of open cattle, they report that to the Veterinary Association too, because that could be a sign of issues. And we want them to be able to come in and investigate if there's a problem. This bill's gotten way too much publicity and maybe way too many visual aids as we go through it. But hopefully you'll support and vote yes on this bill.
Well, thank you so much, Representative, and thank you for cleaning your visual aid before you brought it in. Further discussion, Representative Helm. Representative Helm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question to the carrier.
Question of the carrier. Does the carrier yield? He says of horse.
I'm sorry, Representative Owens. I had to take a call while you were talking, and I missed the part, and I'm confused. So the part that I'm confused about is, how do you keep the bull still while you're putting that device on?
Right. So this would go back to the birds and bees, but I have never pregged a bull.
For that response to the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, to the bill, please.
We had a good discussion last year on this bill. We had a good discussion in the committee. We have, I think, faith that our veterinary board can create the rules that will be protective. The fact of the matter is, a lot of our producers do this work themselves, and the animals are not in danger, and neither are the human beings. I think we can trust this bill going forward this session, and I would urge an aye vote.
Thank you for that, Representative. Is there